Every day the woman wakes up and goes back to the morning before. She looks younger every day, and her daughter shrinks and loses height every day, until she becomes a newborn baby, even stuffed into the stomach. In order to save her daughter, she must reverse the direction of time. Eunjo's life was happy, until the day her daughter was killed by a perverted old man. Although the old man was caught red-handed, but because the old man was mentally ill, the court only sent the old man to a mental hospital. She tried many appeals, but she couldn't avenge her daughter's death. In the end, she chose to die with her daughter. Before committing suicide, she told her daughter that her mother would be here soon. Together with her, there were 3 other netizens who committed suicide. They met and drove to the temple to end their lives. They ate fasting food at the temple. They watched the sunset for the last time on the hill. The 4 of them then took sleeping pills, lit coals, and closed the doors and windows. They lay still, waiting for the carbon monoxide to take them away. In the middle of the journey, one of the girls suddenly changed her mind. She opened the door and fled, and a boy at the door ran away too. Late at night, Eunjo didn't die. Instead, she was taken to the hospital in a state of confusion. In the end, only one boy named Homin died. Before he died, he said something strange. "Please wait for me until I know you." At first, Eunjo didn't understand what it meant. Suddenly, time began to rewind. Everything that happened that day began to rewind. When Eunjo woke up, it was yesterday morning. Eunjo thought he was dreaming, but it happened exactly the same as yesterday. Eunjo didn't follow them to the temple. Instead, he spent the day thinking about what was going on. It turns out that at exactly 12 o'clock at night, she'll be back to the morning before. Eunjo began to realize that her time was moving backwards from one day to the next. It also meant that she could go back and prevent her daughter's death. Eunjo waited at home day by day. The closer she got to her daughter's death, the more she couldn't help but do one thing: to kill the old man who killed her daughter. She sneaks into the mental hospital and covers the killer's mouth and nose with a quilt. But the one who pushed the door in was the dead Homin. Homin is the son of the murderer. Eunjo quickly left and fled. The next day, time goes back one day. The old man came back to life again. Eunjo attended his daughter's funeral again with a sad heart. 3 days later, on the day of her daughter's death, Eunjo was out of town. She woke up and called the kindergarten. On her way, she alerted the security guards to patrol the area. Even so, her daughter came to the pool. She followed the back door to Homin's backyard. It was also Homin's interview day. His father was lost due to Alzheimer's. Homin locks his father in his room and rushes off to a job interview, not noticing that the door is unlocked. The old man came out to collect eggs. Seeing a cute girl, he follows her into the kindergarten. As the girl was walking, the egg fell into the pool. The old man, saddened by the girl, went into the water to pick up the eggs. The girl, who was in a hurry, also fell into the pool. The old man rushed back to pick up the drowning girl. But due to physical reasons, the two fell into the water together. The security guard who was on patrol passed by and came to the rescue. Eunjo finally saw her daughter and cried. She realized that the old man wasn't a murderer at all, but that he had failed to save his daughter and was suffering from dementia. That's why he was mistaken for a psychopathic murderer. Eunjo's heart was filled with guilt as she looked at the disoriented old man. It turns out that all the hatred was a misunderstanding. She sincerely thanked and apologized to Homin and the old man. But Homin doesn't even know her now. When Eunjo wakes up again, it's the day before her daughter died. Her daughter's sleeping face makes Eunjo feel happy. She finally let go of her hatred and worry, because she knew that time would move forward one day. The day of her death would be farther and farther away. She quit her job to be with her daughter all the time. The companionship between mother and daughter became the best comfort in the world. But as each day passed, Eunjo slowly realized a problem. While she was getting younger and younger, her daughter was getting shorter and shorter. This also means that her daughter is getting smaller day by day. One day, her daughter would return to her womb. On December 24th, 2011, the day her daughter was born. But Eunjo was not happy at all, because it was the last day my daughter was tucked in. She would lose her daughter again. Even though she couldn't sleep, Eunjo's stomach grew. From today, her daughter will be inside her stomach again, and it's getting smaller every day. In 10 months, if she can't stop time from going backwards, she will lose her daughter forever. Realizing that the 4 suicides were the beginning of the time reversal, she decided to stop the other 3. She went to the boy who ran away first. This boy was also living his life backwards, and he's lived his life backwards from the age of 78. Now he has the body of a 15-year-old. The last time he went to the temple to kill himself, he was just trying to enter a half-dead state to turn back time again. The old boy took Eunjo to see another girl who committed suicide. The girl committed suicide because of a fraud. The two tried to stop the fraudulent contract, but the girl didn't even know the two. This shows that the only people who rewind their lives are Eunjo and old boy. In the end, Eunjo went to find Homin, because Homin reminded Eunjo before he died to wait for him until they know each other again. Apparently, they don't know each other at all now. Eunjo talked about Ho-min's father's dementia and Ho-min's death. Ho-min simply finds it baffling. Through investigation, Eunjo found out Ho-min was depressed because he was injured in the match. So by stopping the game, he could change Ho-min. On the day of the competition, his father made a big breakfast, waiting to see his son win the championship. Eunjo rushed into the training ground to persuade Ho-min to give up the match. Otherwise, he would be seriously injured in the next match. But Ho-min said that even so, he couldn't give up. He would regret it for the rest of his life. The match went as expected. After winning 2 matches in a row, his opponent twisted Ho-min's arm with his thigh. Ho-min fainted from the pain, and his father fainted from the excitement. The old boy told Eunjo another way to change time. That is to die again on the Meteor Day a few days later. The old boy even told Eunjo about the theory of time gaps. If you enter when the meteor breaks, you can reverse time again. Since time is reversed, Eunjo and Ho-min are reacquainted with each other every day. And this time, Ho-min fell in love with Eunjo at first sight. Ho-min said she looked familiar to him. Eunjo couldn't help but cry tears of joy. She finally waited for this boy to recognize her. It was the day Eunjo and her boyfriend gave birth. It also means that Eunjo must die again today when the meteor appears. Otherwise, her daughter will be gone forever. Before leaving, Eunjo met Ho-min again. The two of them are like strangers who know each other best. They told each other about their dreams. Eunjo left behind a diary. He said that they wouldn't have to meet each other every day. Then, Eunjo stood on the bridge. He jumped off the bridge with hope in his heart. He jumped off the bridge and opened his heart to the future. As a shooting star passed by, Eunjo finally ended up rewinding time. When 12 o'clock at night passed, the time went back to tomorrow. Because of Eunjo's diary, Ho-min knew his opponent's moves in advance. The day he lost the original match, he won the match and changed his life. 10 months later, Eunjo came back to the day her daughter was born. Looking at her newborn daughter, she said, "Mummy has been waiting for you for a long time." This was the 3rd time Eunjo witnessed the birth of her daughter. She continued to grow up with her daughter and saved her. The time has come again to the day of the suicide pact. Ho-min went to the temple again according to the promise in the diary. The temple hadn't changed, nor had the trees. Watching the same sunset, but their moods were different from the last time. Despair was replaced by gratitude. Ho-min said, "Thank you for waiting." Then he returned the diaries to Eunjo. They will continue to live bravely. If today can go back to yesterday, tomorrow can save today's self. The world would have fewer regrets and save many lives from dying. By the way, the 78-year-old boy went back to the age of 15. In fact, to meet his wife, who is also 15 years old. He's the romantic one.